The problem is, no one wants to stick to the basics. They either want to see their results tomorrow, or they want to find the newest way to hack muscle onto their body. I got this physique by practicing exactly what I preach, which is sticking to the basics and avoiding common detrimental mistakes. Getting jacked is not complicated. It's actually very simple, and it's something that every guy can and should achieve. Anyways, when we're talking about guys doing way too much, doing things that are messing up their gains, the first thing that comes to my mind is you're spending too many days in the gym. Now you might be thinking, what's wrong with 6 days a week? Isn't training more often just better? There's two main reasons as to why it's holding you back. The first is how it affects your training. So when it comes to training, you need to be training in a high intensity, very close to failure in order to see growth. But when you're training too many days, you're just not gonna have the energy, you're just not gonna have the focus, and your nervous system is just not gonna keep up with the demands that's required to stimulate muscle growth. You're literally going to be incapable of training to a point where you're going to be stimulating muscle growth. It's just not gonna be possible when you're training too many days. The second reason why training too many days holds back your gains is because of how it affects your recovery. You actually only grow muscle when you rest and recover. And so if you're constantly putting your body under a state of stress, you're constantly training your muscles, you're constantly working out, your body's not gonna have the time and resources it needs in order to actually grow. Think about it this way. Your body actually does just whatever is most efficient for it. So if you're constantly putting your body under a state of stress, you're constantly pushing yourself, you're constantly working out, moving those muscles, it's actually very inefficient for it to grow muscles. It just doesn't have the energy and resources to sustain that. Whereas if you train really hard, you stimulate growth, but then you rest and recover, it's actually more optimal for your body to grow those muscles, because now next time you go back to that situation again, you're gonna be stronger, you're gonna be bigger. So you wanna think of rest as a very, very important concept. It's the fourth pillar that no one really talks about when it comes to growing muscle mass, but you absolutely need rest and recovery. If you don't have it, you're not really gonna stimulate growth. It's not gonna happen. And so many guys just leave it out. Next thing I need to understand is I'm not trying to sound insulting when I say, okay, you're trying to hack muscle onto your body. But the thing is, they're trying to find a big high leverage move to make. But when it comes to building muscle, it's not about high leverage moves, it's about small wins. And so you have to stack those end on end. And that's actually what's gonna create a high leverage for you to grow muscle mass. It might not seem like it now. It might not seem like that one day where you didn't feel like it, or where you're sick a little bit, or your stomach was hurting and you have to wake up very early. And that day, okay, you're like, okay, it's just one day. It's not gonna matter in the grand scheme of like my 3-year gym journey. And you might be right, but it's what that points to and how that builds up and stacks end on end. You see, if you're willing to skip one day because you didn't feel like it, that's going to point to a behavior where you're going to be missing days throughout several weeks. That's going to be point to behavior where you're not going to be making your protein, you're not going to be eating the food that's required to fuel your gains. Whereas when you do show up on that day, even though you might say, oh, that day doesn't really matter that much, that day it points to a behavior where you are going to succeed no matter what, where you are going to make sure that you are going to take accountability for your own progress, and you're going to guarantee that you grow no matter what. You see, that's the kind of thing that stacks end on end. It grows exponentially, and that's what's gonna actually give you high leverage when it comes to growth. Not myo reps, not 20 rep sets, not 10-second negatives. All of these things they seem enticing because it's like a whole new thing that you can potentially discover, and you never know, maybe it's gonna be the new thing that's gonna get you massive gains. I'm not saying those things don't work, but when it comes to lifting, the leverage and the real gains comes from stacking small wins, staying consistent. If you can do that, before you know it, that's when you're gonna see big gains. You're gonna look unrecognizable. One day you're just gonna look in the mirror and you're gonna be like, whoa, what happened? So stack the small wins. Don't be trying to hack your way to becoming jacked. By the way, guys, if you're not sure of the exact things that you need to do or the things that you need to avoid, I have a free checklist that's going to tell you all the best tips as well as the biggest things to avoid when it comes to building muscle mass. So if you're looking to get jacked, you're looking to build muscle mass, then be sure to go and grab that. But yeah, guys, anyways, like I was saying before, stop trying to hack your way into massive gains. The gains and the leverage from a massive gain comes off of stacking small wins, staying consistent, and doing the right things over and over again. In a matter of a few months, In a matter of even a few weeks, you're gonna see results that are gonna make you look unrecognizable. Focus on what's important and you're gonna see success. Anyways guys, with that being said, that's gonna be the end of this video. Like the video if you did. Subscribe to stick around for more content just like this. I help guys go from skinny to jacked. But I'll see you guys in the next one.